Okay, hi. So in this part of the video, we're going to look at creating calculated fields in Power BI. So our goal is to create a calculated column, a calculated measure, and to use the calculate function. Okay, so in order to do this, we need to start to understand what is a column, what is a measure. So we will be going through the first thing first, which is the calculated column. All right. So let's head back to our Power BI view. We are back here. You should have this beach water quality data set imported. We have been using this quite a lot in all the previous videos. Okay, so as I clicked on the data view here, you can actually see that there are 4 columns here, right? There are 4 columns here. We have the beach name, yeah, which is listing the 6 different beaches. We have the measurement timestamp, right? So the measurement timestamp is not too friendly yet because of all the formatting issues. This will require some pre-processing, but we'll do that in the later part. We have the water temperature here, and we have the wave height here. Now, the idea of a calculated column is to actually create another column similar to this, where we will have values that are calculated based on a given condition. Okay, so we will have an extra column. So right now we have 4 columns. We are going to create one more column. That is to create a calculated column. Now, when do we want to need, or when do we need to actually have calculated columns? It's actually when we want to achieve certain outcomes, or there are further questions, or we want to perform a analysis, a data analysis on our data set. So therefore, we can, in order to do this, we can head back to the report view, right? And then we can see that this is the beach water data set. What we're going to aim to create a calculated column. Now, this column is going to be used to tell us whether a wave height is above average or is normal. So let me go back to the data view again one more time. So we have seen all these wave heights here. 0.187, 0.187, 0.187. So let me just create a drop down. So they're all these heights, you see. There's so many height data. Yeah, there's so many numbers here. Now we want to try and make sense of these numbers. How many of these numbers are considered above average? And how many of these numbers are considered normal? Okay, so that is something we can do using a calculated column. All right, so we can find out whether this number is considered average or is considered normal. Sorry, it's considered above average or it's considered normal. Okay, yeah, so we can do that using the calculated columns in Power BI. So this will give us an understanding of these numbers on whether it is normal or above average. We're trying to categorize these numbers. Okay, so in order to do that, let's go back to the report view. Okay, and this is the beach water quality data set. So we can just click on the 3 dots here, right? Then we can create actually a new column here. Yeah, so we click on new column. What that does is it creates an extra field here. Yeah, it creates extra field here with the name column. So we are free to rename this to whatever we want it to be. Okay, so now I would like to call this is average. Yeah, so this will tell me whether the value is average or not. This is the idea of the column. Okay, so now is average is going to be helping me to find out whether the column is above average or normal. Okay, so we can use what we call a if condition here. Now, you guys, most of you would have done at least a bit of programming. So if the logical test here, right, the logical test, we'll do a logical test. If the test is true, we'll show this result after the first comma. If the test is false, we'll show the other result. Yeah. Okay, so now what is the test? We want to check whether the particular number is above the average value. So therefore, we want to check whether the wave height, yeah. So you see this data set, IntelliSense already tells me that the beach water quality automated sensors 1 extracted, this is my data set, and I'm referring to this particular field here, wave height, right? Wave height. If this height in that particular element or that row is greater than, yeah, I'm going to check greater than, okay, is greater than the average. Okay, I'm going to take the average because I'm more interested in the average, right? If this value in that row is greater than the average of the wave height, yeah, is greater than the average of the wave height. So I'm getting back the wave height again here. So I'll click enter and it's auto-filled, yeah. And I can close this. So if, now this starts to become a bit hard to see, yeah. So if this wave height, yeah, we can ignore this data set. Now what happens is Power BI always tells us which data set we are using. In our case, we only have one data set here. Power BI has the ability and the capability to manage multiple data sets. That is, I can actually create another CSV file. I can just go under home and connect to the data and import it in. So in this case, we don't need to worry too much about which data set we are using because we only have one, right? So if wave height is above the average, so this is the average function, yeah, it will actually, if you pass it the wave height, it will calculate the average for you. So this will aggregate the data and give me a final number, right? Average will aggregate and give me a final number. If this wave height is greater than the average wave height, if it's greater, then it's true. So therefore, we will say it's above normal. Else that means it's not above the average. So this is normal if it's false. Yeah. Okay, so I close the bracket here such that it closes this bracket. So another good thing about this, we call this formula editor DAX, yeah. DAX stands for data analysis expression. So this is the way Power BI is a programming language which is used in Power BI and a few other Microsoft Suite tools to express this sort of formulas and so on. Okay, so if the height is above, yeah, above the average, we will say above normal, or we can just say above average. Sorry, above average. Yeah, I prefer this. The wave height is above average, else it is considered normal. Okay, so once I hit enter here, the calculation is applied. Yeah, our column here is created. This is a column. Yeah, and we can see that this is a function that is applied. Fx is actually function, a short form for function. Okay, so let's go back to the data view here. Now we see an extra column here. Yeah, so all these numbers are considered above average. 0.187 is considered above average. So if I was to scroll down, yeah, I'll try and manually eyeball. Okay, this time around there's 34,000 records. This might take a bit of time, so I'm just gonna quickly try and scroll down. I'm still seeing above average. Yeah, why not I just use the, okay, so now we see some data sets that are normal. 0.013 is considered normal. Yeah, 0.224 is considered above average. 0.181 is considered above average. 0.163 is normal, right? So we are starting to have a classification here. So if there's a wave, is it considered above average or is it considered normal? Right, so we have two good classifications here. Now with this, we can find out in all the beaches, right, how many times are there normal waves and how many times are there above average waves, yeah, in all the beaches. So we are interested in a proportion here, right? So we're looking at two values only, above average and normal. So we can use a pie chart, okay, to see the answers here. So I'm quite interested to find out how often are there above average waves, yeah, above average waves. So I'm using a pie chart here, all right, and then I will take the is average value and I think I should throw it under values here. Okay, so right now we just see one value here. Yeah, it's counting is average. So there are 34,000 records earlier, right? So it's 34.16K records here. 34.16. So we can go and verify this again. Where did I see the number of records here? Yeah, basically 34.164 rows, right? So that's why you're getting 34.16K records here. Yeah, 34.16K records. Now I want to split this record into whether it's normal or above average. So therefore I should use the legend, yeah, if you recall. Yeah, I should use the legend. So I take the same calculated column and I can throw it back here. Now what happens is we get a nice split. So we see that more than half the time, yeah, more than half the time, the waves are normal, yeah, and less than a half are above average, yeah. Okay, so this is one way we can actually create an extra column or a calculated column such that we can find out interesting insight and we can analyze further.